we are going to welcome in our next guest, Courtney from the beautiful state of Montana. Courtney, welcome to Stay Paid.
It's great to see you. Great to have you on the show. I would love to hear from you. What is your big question or struggle in business, something that we can help you with?
I've been in real estate since I got out of college, and there isn't really any education on how to set yourself up necessarily to retire. And when I mean retire, I don't mean your retirement account. How do you mentally prepare yourself to not do this job anymore?
What a great question. I love where your mindset is, because most people are focused on the here and now, transactional, but very few actually think about retirement. And it's a known fact in the industry. Real estate agents don't retire, and they aren't able to sell their business. You know what I mean? Where doctors or lawyers, financial advisors, insurance agents, they all are able to sell their practice. And usually for multiples that are great, but real estate agents rarely are able to do that. One pain point I see why, and then we'll get into more questions for you on your question, is I think real estate agents tend to be very transactional, not in their belief system, but in their actions. So they call their clients past clients. You know, you're not a past agent. You shouldn't have past clients. They don't think of their book of business as something they do annual reviews with, or they have a recurring touch point with. You obviously do, because you've been doing it, a while. But that's where they get to the end of the road, and you go, a financial advisor is selling their book of business, their client base, right? A doctor is selling the patient base. And real estate agents, they don't take care of their database in a way that it becomes a sellable asset. Like, you should be thinking, I need to manage these people. So one day I could literally, if I wanted, doesn't mean I will, but if I wanted to, I could go sell these 300 clients that I have to another agent that would pay a good multiple on them because of what I've done with this business. Amy Stockberger is someone who comes to mind. She's the number one team in South Dakota. And she is buying books of business right now from real estate agents and growing that way because it's just such an opportunity. But all that being said, I would love to hear from you. So you've been in it a long time. When you think about preparing for, retirement, you had two kind of ways there. You had the mental preparation and then also the real financial income. Which one are you struggling with more? And what does retirement look like to you?
Retirement looks like, to me, just not being in real estate full-time all the time, and being able to have the opportunity to travel and not worry about your business.
Okay. Do you have a team of agents right now or no?
No, I've tried
Just
that here, and it just has not worked out.
Okay.
So that was my initial plan, so that you're both taking care of people all the time. But nobody works the same way that I do, that I've found. I even had somebody this past week that wanted to talk to me about getting started in real estate from an investor point. He's a younger guy, but I didn't get to meet with him, and I haven't heard back from him. So that's the kind of thing that I keep seeing, where they're just not very assertive, not very proactive. My clients, past clients, current clients, people that know me call me all the time. I work with Engel and Volkers, which is an international company.
Yep.
And we look at ourselves as advisors, not salespeople. And so my clients look at me as their fiduciary advisor, and they will call me and ask me about everything. So I don't think I could ever part with being needed that way. I think
you sound like my dad, who's a pastor. He's like, he'll never retire from being a pastor.
Yeah.
What does the time horizon look like? Is it 5 years out, 10 years out, 15? Is it tomorrow? What's the time horizon for this retirement that you're hoping for?
I don't know if you saw my golden retriever walking around behind me.
Did.
My husband said we have to wait for him. We're not going anywhere until he's not going to be sad that we're gone for a whole month. So there isn't really a set horizon. It all depends on Biscuit.
Yeah. All right. So Biscuit's making the decision there. I think like where I go in my mind when it ever comes to like goal setting and what do I need to do to prepare for something, you got to get very intentional on what you want. And, I think it'd be very productive for you to sit down and basically write a letter to yourself, where you tell yourself, this is what I want my retirement to look like income wise. This is what I want it to look like freedom wise. This is how much real estate I want to do, because it is very hard to execute on things that are unclear. And when you confuse, you lose. And so I want to encourage you that the only way to prepare yourself is to get intentional about what you want. And the only way to get clarity on what you want is like anything. It's like writing a paper in college. What first comes out is not what you end up with, unless you want a bad grade. You refine it. So you sit down, you write a letter to yourself of going, hey, this is when I want to retire. This is what I want to be able to do. This is how much income I want to make per month. And then you start adding details to that enable you to go, okay, there's activities you can do. So you could hang your license in referral status, and you could find one or two trusted agents in the area that you trust that are as good as you. And I don't know if that exists out there, but if that are good as you, and you build a partnership with them, that you refer them and you work out a deal where they give you 1% or they give you, whatever that deal is that you've worked out, but you have a set avenue and plan. You can go down and start working that strategy of going, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to find a trust agent. You could also go the route of, and I know you've tried it, I want to build a team under me, and I want to bring someone in that I can pass my book of business to. And the reason why I want to do this, because if I'm reading you correct, Courtney, you really love your clients and care about them, and you're nervous of the treatment that they will get from somebody else. So maybe more control is better, where you bring in a young Josh Dyke who wants his gung-ho, he wants to be great, and you...
Thank you for calling me young.
Yeah, exactly. Your incentive to him is, hey, Josh, you're going to have to hustle. You're going to have to do all the things that real estate agents do. But over time, I want to pass my book of business to you. And in order to do that, we'll have a deal where, you work out a commission split, where you continue to feed them for the rest of the time, all your book of business with your relationships. But that's a trusted person that you've worked something out with, that you build up. So those are, first step would be, you got to get clear on it. And then the big driver for most people, maybe it's not for you, is the income side. Is, okay, how do because you had mentioned taxes, like in the tax perks, I think you said, of what you get writing off. Do you have a good real estate tax attorney?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. Like, I would encourage you, are you currently like an LLC or an S Corp or
LLC? Right.
S Corp. Okay, perfect. So LLC that elects to be an S Corp in taxes is how you are functioning. Okay, perfect. So it's like, I would encourage you that, this is more the income side, and we're not tax attorneys by any means. So please do not take our financial professional advice seriously. Go get a good tax attorney. But the way I look at it is, I go, hey, in real estate, you have such an opportunity to build passive income. So when you get to that place of retirement, so like Acre Brothers, right? We do a lot of real estate where we're selling. We've done 109 sales so far this year with 5 agents on the team, but we also do a ton of real estate investing, flipping, but our goal is holding real estate. So we have hundreds of units that we own. And I think real estate agents, they fail. And this is maybe not for you, Courtney, but for the listeners, is you have access to the deals before most people do. You understand the market before, better than most people. And you have an opportunity to invest yourself, to invest in the product that you're helping clients invest in. And I would encourage you to do that if you can and you have the means. The reason why I asked for the S Corp is because you can set up, your own 401k. You can set up the, Roth IRAs and stuff like that. And so I just want to know kind of how you were structured there to make sure passive income wise, you might lose the perks when you're not a full-time realtor. But if you take advantage now and you get clear on your goals, okay, I want this much in my 401k. I want to own 5 properties that produce this much income. Now you can get clear in your activities that you want.
I've done a good bit of that. I have a solo one,
awesome
401k, and then we have 2 Airbnbs.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm proud of you there. What
my son's
what do you think?
3, and he wants to start investing in real estate too. So that's our plan going forward.
Would your son come into the business to be your transition plan? No, he doesn't want to. He's like, I can't do it. Yeah.
He went through the real estate class, refused to take the test after the class.
Yeah.
I think so many people think real estate is easy. They see people make money and it looks easy. It looks fun. They see all the glamorous videos and this kind of thing. They don't know what is behind the scenes, all the hard work. So we see a lot of agents here, especially because it's so seasonal and you have to be good at saving your money from this time of the year until October is kind of when we end. And then you go do other things like travel November through February. But
it's the structures. Yeah. Like most agents are not, like most people do not treat, they quit their 9 to 5 and don't realize that, you got to show up more than a 9 to 5 for your real estate business, especially in the early years. You've got to do that. It feels to me like you're doing so many things right. And like all of us, and fear's too strong of a word, but there's this unknown of this next phase. And I really believe, like, if I'm you, I would write down, and maybe it's a, decision for you and your husband. You write down what you want it to look like. And then in life, you have AI now, you can go ask. So go ask ChatGPT, right? Or Gemini, one of these AIs, what it thinks. But really important is to get mentors. And mentors are usually people who are a little bit further down the road than you, that have what you want.
He's in his 70s.
That's beautiful. Exactly. That's what I would encourage you to do, is find some people who have entered into that retirement phase, that have done this transition that you're looking to do over the next years, to get into more travel, and get their thoughts on your plan. Then I would also encourage you, as we wrap up, is one of the most important things, and this is something I learned from reading and listening to Ray Dalio, is that you kind of go through phases in your life. You have the build phase, you have the maintain phase, and then you have what's called the give back phase. And you're in the give back phase, right? You have knowledge, you have some resources that a lot of people don't have. And the give back phase is so important because so much of the happiness in our life, at least this is what I believe, it's better to give than receive. And a lot of times when you feel unfulfilled in things that you're doing, it's because you're not giving back enough. Like you don't have, and you probably have this, but this is just as an encouragement to you, is as you write out your plan, think about what's the legacy that Courtney wants to have in her community with her clients, and how do you give back to that next generation, the next up and coming people, or the community that you're in, because that's really fulfilling. But this is a great question. It gets people thinking in a way they don't normally think.
I have a website idea that I came up with a client 20, 30 years ago, somewhere in there, to help people with disabilities become able bodies. So that is my give back plan.
I love that. Yeah, awesome. That's so fantastic. Yeah, I would encourage you, you have a good tax attorney, sit down, write out the plan, get really clear how much income you need, how much you want to travel. Things can change, but you can't take action on things. You can't hit a target you don't know exist. And so get really clear on that, and you're going to knock it out of the park. And when I come and visit Montana, I'm going to have to look you up, Courtney, because I really actually want to go there after watching Yellowstone. I really want to go there. So this is fantastic, Courtney. Thank you so much.
Courtney.
If you're on Instagram and Facebook, can we connect? It's at Luke Acree. I would love to connect with you if I can help you more and build a relationship. That would be awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.